Okay, so good afternoon, dear teacher. My name is Andre Bosques, and this is my assignment for um, language testing. Okay, about assessing writing. The grade that I chose was the 10th course. The student's level is intermediate to advanced. The average students of this course could be 15 or 16 years old, and the estimated time for the activity is 10 minutes for the instructions and 30 minutes for the development. The type of activities that I chose was the autobiography and the photographic writing prompt. So, for the autobiography, the objectives are to develop student self-confidence through the self-discovery, enhance the use of grammar tenses according to the story, and maintain and increase the use of the vocabulary. Okay, so the instructions for the autobiography are simple. The students will have to write their story in both sides of a piece of paper. They will have to write all the details they can remember from their past years. They can write the aspects they consider they can tell. Nobody will have to write things they do not want to tell, so they are free to write the happiest or even the saddest situations they have been through. The biography must end with the following structure. The subject, for example, Jose, now is thinking about studying as thinking about studying medicine at Central University, for example. The magnificent or any other adjective that they can use. So they can say the magnificent story of Jose will continue. Other students maybe are thinking about working, so could be Jorge now is thinking about working as a police officer in Quito, for example, or in Guayaquil. Yeah. So the outstanding story of Jorge will continue. This activity focuses on the vocabulary they can use, the vocabulary that they can remember from the past years. So we are trying to improve their skills in writing using the different type of tenses too. So the scoring rubric for this activity will be the following. We have creativity, that includes the use of diverse vocabulary. Yeah, because for this activity the students can use the dictionary. So the students are going to get 3.3 to 3.01, which means that is an excellent grade when the student uses diverse vocabulary. The student will get a good punctuation if he has 3 to 1.50. The student repeats some words in the text, and a poor performance, if the student used the same words to tell the whole story. Another aspect of the rubric is the correct use of the grammar. Yeah, the correct use of grammar tenses, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, etc. The students will get an excellent score if the student used the correct tense to tell the certain situation. A good score if the student used incorrectly a tense in his or her description, and a poor performance or poor score if the student chose the incorrect tense to relate an event. Finally, we have coherence and cohesion. The student will have an excellent grade if the story seems fluid and easy to understand. A good punctuation if the story has few errors but it is understandable yet. And a poor score if the story displays errors of telling and it is hard to understand. Okay, so the student will have the aspects clear and about their grades, their final grades. The second activity that I chose was the photography writing prompt. The objectives are to enhance the students' creativity through free writing, to develop students' grammar use, and to encourage students to write about mixed scenarios. The instructions are simple. The teacher will bring pictures about different scenarios. Each student will pick one randomly. They must write a story based on the selected picture. They can create the characters and the story plot they want. So, in this case, we have the scoring rubric. For the creativity, an excellent score if the story is extremely interesting with unique characters. A good punctuation if the story is interesting with few unique characters. And a poor score if the story is not interesting and the characters are common. Then we have grammar use. Excellent score if the student used the correct tense to tell a certain situation. A good score if the student used incorrectly a tense in his or her description. And finally, the student chose the incorrect tense to relate an event. Then we have coherence and cohesion. The story seems fluid and easy to understand, an excellent punctuation. The story has few errors but is understandable yet, a good punctuation. And a poor punctuation if the story displays errors of telling and it is hard to understand. Finally, in my rubric, I will grade the correct use of the picture. Okay, an excellent punctuation will be if the story is strongly related to the picture selected. A good score if the story is a little related to the picture selected. And finally, a poor score if the story is not linked at all to the picture selected. And that would be everything about my activities to develop and assessing writing. Thank you very much.